Hi, I'm back! I don't know if you noticed that I was gone. My last video was 4 weeks ago. But I was on holiday in Miami for 2 weeks, and this week I've been struggling with the jet lag, and now I'm finally starting to feel human again. And I was actually supposed to film 2 videos, well, edit 2 videos on my holiday, but the first week I was kind of getting distracted by the bookshops, like Barnes & Nobles and Books A Million and this independent store I think called Books & Books. And the second week of my holiday a terrible tragedy happened and I dropped my laptop and the charger broke. So there was no editing of my videos. But now I'm back, and I'm back with another book haul. I know what you're thinking. Didn't you just have a massive book haul from London? Well, yes I did, but the lure of Barnes & Noble and Books A Million and Books & Books was hard to resist. And somehow I ended up with about 70 books, something like that. Don't judge me. This haul is gonna be in 2 parts again, because part of the books I'm only getting next week when my mom is coming back, and we can think of this as a kind of combined birthday book haul, because my birthday is next month and I'm gonna try my hardest not to buy any more books for at least like a couple of months. I'm going back to Miami for Christmas, so need to save money. So I guess we'll get started with the book haul so this doesn't end up getting too long. I'll start with the books I bought before going to Miami, because it was also book sales in Finland at the end of July. And I ended up buying quite a few books from here as well. So the first book I have is To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee. I've never read this one before, and yeah, it's the 50th anniversary edition. Classic about deep south of the 1930s, race and class, that sort of thing. So I'll be interested to finally read this. Then I bought another 2 Nancy Drews from the flea markets. These kept getting cheaper actually. This one is The Haunting of Horse Island, and this was €1, and this one only cost 50 cents, and the original title is The Mystery of Misty Canyon. So I'm collecting these because I used to read them as a kid. Also from the flea market I got the Mammoth book of vampire romance, and I don't actually know any of the authors in this, but vampire romance, you know, sometimes I'm just in the mood for it. And this one cost €1.50, so not too bad. From the book sales I bought another Mammoth book, and that one is the Mammoth Book of Warriors and Wizardry. And this one actually has some authors I know about. There's Naomi Novik and Scott Lynch. And who else? Do I know anyone? N.K. Jemisin. Some familiar ones, so I'll be interested to read this and see if it's any good. Then I got You by Caroline Kepnes. This one I think is a sort of stalker kind of story about this guy who works in a bookshop and becomes obsessed with this girl who walks in. And yeah, it sounds really interesting. I think it's actually told from the perspective of the stalker, so we'll be reading this soon, hopefully. The next book, I have actually no idea what this is about. It's just the cover has been kind of catching my eye for the longest time now, and it was on the sale, so I just bought it. Dreams and Shadows, A Dark Place to Be by C. Robert Gargill. And yeah, this cover, I like it, so I bought it. I think it's like a fairy tale sort of thing. It says it begins with a love story A love that is almost too sweet, too perfect. From that love comes a child. Life is wonderful. Until something unspeakably vile scuttles out of the shadows and steals the child away, leaving a changeling in its place. But this is no ordinary fairy tale. So yeah. Then another cover by, this one is called Tiger Milk by Stephanie de Velasco. And don't know anything about this. It's just, I've seen this cover around and every time I see it I'm kind of like, should I buy it? Should I leave it? And I finally bought it, so I think it's some sort of a growing up story. It says Tiger Milk captures what it is to be young, so kind of mixed reviews though, so I'm not sure. We'll see. Also, I bought Rivers of London by Ben Aronovich. This one, it had me at London and magic and full of crime. That's all I know about it. London full of magic and crime. I'm interested. Also, I think Patrick Rothfuss, if I'm not mistaken, had given this 5 stars on Goodreads, so that's promising. Then I bought a few Penguin classics because they were really cheap at the sales, and yeah. Sons and Lovers by D.H. Lawrence. I have another edition of this, I think, but it's not as nice as this one, so I bought this one. I think in sales this cost probably like 2 or 3 euros, so I couldn't leave it. Also, The Adventure of the Engineer's Thumb and Other Cases by Arthur Conan Doyle. Persuasion by Jane Austen. It's a bit damaged from the corner, bent, but again it was like 1 or 2 euros. The Mill and the Floss by George Eliot. And Lady Audley's Secret by Mary Elizabeth Braddon. And I'm sorry, but most of these books I know nothing about. I just bought them because they were Penguin classics. So. Then the last book I bought from Helsinki is The Martian by Andy Weir. I don't know. This is about to become a movie. I'm not sure if this is actually the movie tie-in cover. It looks like it a bit. I heard great things about this one. My sister already read this, so I'll be interested to read this. And if you don't know, it's about a man who gets stranded in Mars. So moving on to the books I bought from Miami. And there's a lot of them, so let's get started. The first book is Rook by Sharon Cameron. Who needs a wedding ring when you can pick up a sword? Criminal, spirit, or last hope. History has a way of repeating itself. In the sunken city that was once Paris, all who oppose the new revolution are being put to the blade, except for those who disappear from their prison cells, a single red-tipped rook feather left in their place. The mysterious red rook is a savior of the innocent and a criminal in the eyes of the government. Hopefully I'll enjoy this. Next book I bought was Survive the Night by Danielle Vega. This is the author who wrote Merciless as well. I haven't read that one, but the Merciless was apparently a young adult book, but really gory, torture sort of thing. Survive the Night sounds kind of gory as well. I think there's a group of teenagers who are heading to an all-night underground rave in New York City subway tunnel, and then for some reason all the exits get blocked and people start to die, so yeah. The plot kind of gripped me, so I thought, why not? The next book I bought is Ink and Bone by Rachel Kane, the Great Library series, and it says knowledge is power, and in this book the Great Library of Alexandria has survived and is basically in every major city, and the Great Library is governing all the information, and the personal ownership of books is forbidden, but the main characters are in the thriving business of black market books. and book selling. Yeah, this one sounded really interesting because the Great Library of Alexandria, which bibliophile doesn't fantasize about the Great Library of Alexandria still existing. So yeah, I picked it up, and the cover is really nice as well. It looks like an old book almost, and sounds very interesting. So then I picked up a Book of Spirits and Thieves by Morgan Rhodes, and this one is sort of a spin-off series, I think, from the Fallen Kingdom series she's written. This one is still set in the world of Fallen Kingdoms, Mythica, but it starts in modern day Toronto in a bookshop where the main character apparently receives this mysterious parcel, and when she opens it, she falls into a coma, and the parcel sends her spirit into another world, which I suppose is Mythica. So that's interesting, and yeah. I really like Fallen Kingdom, so hopefully I'll enjoy that one as well. Next up, I bought the sequel to A Kiss of Deception. This one is The Heart of Betrayal, the second book in the Remnant Chronicles by Mary E. Pearson. I love these covers. I still haven't read The Kiss of Deception, so I'm not sure how I would like it. I've heard some think it's really slow, but some absolutely love it. So yeah, and if I remember correctly, the main premise of A Kiss of Deception is about this princess who escapes, and then an assassin and a prince have been sent to fetch her, and she doesn't know which is which or something like that. Then a couple of gorgeous books. I bought The Queen of the Tearling by Erika Johansen and The Invasion of the Tearling by Erika Johansen. And again, look at these covers, absolutely stunning, and they like really like this silky smooth feeling I like. And I still haven't read these, so it's high time I get on it, because The Queen of the Tearling is about to be a movie with Emma Watson starring in it, I think. And yeah, fantasy books, Battle of Light and Dark, something like that. Normal thing. These one have deckled edges. I'm not sure how I feel about deckled edges. Many seem to love it. It looks nice, but I'm just not sure about the reading experience. But yeah, bought those. Then I bought Armada by Ernest Cline. Armada is about this, tells about this guy who spends his life dreaming that his life could be more like the sci-fi books or games he's playing and reading. Like, don't we all wish that? But then strange things start to happen, and he sees aliens from his video games coming to Earth. I don't know if it's just me, but every time I look at this cover I think of a tuxedo. Maybe it's just me. Moving on to the contemporary kind of books in my haul. I bought The Beginning of Everything by Robin Schneider. This one was in the bargain book section of Barnes & Noble, so it only cost a couple of dollars. I already bent the corner of the book as well. Ezra was supposed to be a homecoming king, but that was before his girlfriend cheated on him, before a car accident shattered his leg, and before he fell in love with New Girl. So yeah. I also got the special collector's edition of Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell, one of my favorite books. And if you haven't read this one yet, it tells about these two sisters who go to university, and the other one is kind of a party girl and the other one is nerdy and likes to write fanfiction about Simon and Baz, which we all know is Harry and Draco from Harry Potter, aka my OTP forever and ever. The special edition is full of like these really nice fan art things. There's Harry and Draco, I mean Simon and Baz. And I think this one is actually supposed to have a sneak peek of Carry On, which is the full-length story of Simon and Baz coming in October or something. So yes, light pink collector's edition of Fangirl. It had to happen. Next up, I bought The Sacred Lies of Minot Bly by Stephanie Oakes, and all I know about this is that this is about some sort of twisted like religious cult sect, and the main character tried to escape and they cut her hands away because of that. So yeah, I had to get on this one. Then I got More Happy Than Not by Adam Silvera. The plotline of this one sounds a bit like The Eternal Sunshine of Spotless Mind, you know, the film, where they have this procedure to remove unwanted memories or make you forget, in other words. And I think this one as well is supposed to deal with race and LGBT themes, if I'm not mistaken. And I only realized a while ago that this is a huge smiley face in the cover, but don't be fooled, I think this one is supposed to be quite sad. So got that one. Then I got Every Last Word by Tamara Island Stone, and this one is about a girl with an OCD, and it's interesting. I haven't seen many books about that, so, and the cover is quite cool as well. It feels like the pieces of paper have been glued on the cover. So yeah. Then I bought The Improbable Theory of Aina and Zach. I really like this cover as well. Know nothing about this book. It says on the back, Aina plus Zach plus 24 hours, a wild sci-fi convention, an impossible manhunt, thousands of costumed nerds, an angry Viking, lots of trouble, first impressions, anything they ever expected. I got Made You Up by Francesca Zappia. I love this cover as well. And Made You Up is about a girl who has schizophrenia, I think. And yeah, I suppose that means unreliable narrator, and I find myself really enjoying books about mental illness. They're quite interesting, I think, so we'll be looking forward to reading this. Then I got Second Chance Summer by Morgan Matson. Can't tell you anything about this one, except nice cover, Morgan Matson. Then I bought The Walls Around Us by Nova Ren Suma. Again, I love this cover. At the back of the book it says, Ori's dead because of what happened out behind the theatre in the tunnel made out of trees. She's dead because she got sent to that place upstate locked up with those monsters. And she got sent there because of me. And that's all I know about this book as well, so lots of impulse purchases on my part. I don't know anything about most of these books, but I just bought them. Then Emmy and Oliver, a novel of love, lost and found. I've heard some good things about this one and I decided to pick it up because sometimes I'm just in the mood for a contemporary story. Also, I bought The Fangirl's Guide to the Galaxy, a handbook for girl geeks by Sam Maggs. You've probably seen the inside cover of this one, but it's really cool. And yeah, it's just advice to different kind of girl geeks. So, reading from the contents page. It's good to be a geek, fandom intensifies, geek girls online, Geronimo, how to survive conventions, aim to misbehave, geek girl feminism, and that sort of thing. So, got that one. Then I bought another Puffin book, Puffin in Bloom edition, I think. And that one is Heidi by Johanna Spyri. So now I have two, and I'm still missing two. I don't have Anne of Green Gables or Little Woman yet, so hopefully get those someday. Also, I got The Opposite of Loneliness, Essays and Stories by Marina Keegan. It's a bit of a tragic story with the girl who wrote this, because I think she had just graduated from Harvard, I think, when she died in a car accident. But the essays and stories are supposed to be very poignant and encouraging to young people, I think. So I'm interested to see what they are about. So. Also, I got Everything I Never Told You by Celeste Ng. I don't know. Chinese-American family living in the 1970s, small town Ohio. So something about race, I guess. Heard great things about this one, so I finally decided to pick it up. It's not very long at all, and I'll tell you what I thought when I've read it. Then another impulse purchase, I got Never Let Me Go by Kazuo Ishiguro, because I've never read anything by Ishiguro before, so. And this one is quite popular. I think this was made into a film a few years ago. Correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, some sort of dystopian. And I don't really know anything else about it, so. Then I got Browsings by Michael Derda, winner of the Pulitzer Prize. And basically the title of the book, it says, A Year of Reading, Collecting and Living with Books. I was sold. I think it's essays about books and reading, so I had to get it. Then a non-fiction book, I got Dead Wake, The Last Crossing of the Lusitania by Erik Larson. As the title implies, it's about Lusitania and how the last crossing of Lusitania before the German U-boat destroyed it. And I'm a bit of a history geek, so I find these interesting. Those were supposed to be all the books I bought, but I kind of crossed my local bookstore yesterday when I was getting coffee, and because I'm like that bird who goes for shiny things, I don't know what it's called, is it magpie? I don't know. I saw this and I couldn't pass it up. Because it's purple and pink and shiny. Look at those shiny roses. This is so. Anyways, romantic poets. So there's Keats, Byron, Coleridge, Blake, Wordsworth, Shelley, poetry, and it's really big. So I just had to buy it. Also, to quickly show you the bookmarks I've got. I purchased these foxes from Barnes & Noble. I think I promised my sister a couple of these. Then from the Books and Bookstore I was telling you about since 1982, I got these bookmarks, several of these actually, but I left a few in Miami for Christmas. It says, there's a quote in the middle of the bookmarks from Borges, and it says, I cannot sleep unless I am surrounded by books. I'm sure we can all relate in BookTube. Also from Barnes & Noble I got this, Reading is Hot, as is the man with the book. And then I made a couple of orders from Etsy. The first one being from Greenie, I will leave her shop down below. She makes these gorgeous watercolor bookmarks, and I got this one which says I ship it, and then there's a ship. And then I got this Once Upon a Time bookmark. This one is a bookmark for the Daughter of Smoke and Bone series, I think. And also I got this custom-made bookmark for Ignite Me by Tahari Mafi, which is one of my favorite books. and it says "Ignite my love, ignites," and I love it. I love it so much. Also from Etsy I made an order for crafted van, so I got this magnetic bookmark. This is one of the big ones, a dragon, and these coffee ones. Again, I promised my sister I would give her the frappuccino and the muffin, but I'm keeping the coffee ones for myself, and they're so cute. And they go to the back as well. And finally, from Happy Hello Company, I think I couldn't resist this Game Boy magnetic bookmark, so I got that one as well. Those are my new bookmarks. I will do the second part of the haul in about a week, but this is a big part of them, and I'm gonna try and not buy any books for a while, and I will see you in my next video. Bye! But everyone gets a tragedy. Everyone gets a tragedy. Everyone gets a tragedy. Everyone gets a tragedy. Tragedy? Tragedy. Everyone gets a tragedy. That's a difficult word to say.